All right, here's your favorite bodybuilding channel, Serious and Cylinder's Bodybuilding. And this is Anabolic Academy, where you ask me questions and I give you the answers. Ask me questions about bodybuilding, fitness, or anything you want. I don't care. I'll do my best to answer some mathematical equation or some shit. I don't know. Anyway, you could reach me at Serious and Cylinder's Instagram, John Livia at Facebook, John Livia at TikTok, my email, John_Livia at Yahoo, or Uncle John 1201 at Gmail. That's where you could send me questions, and that's where I'm going to answer them right here on Anabolic Academy. So the last couple of weeks, I've been getting a lot of questions. So from here on in, here's what I'm going to do. It's going to be first come, first serve. Whoever sends me questions first, that's who I'm going to answer first. Don't worry, I'm going to get to everybody's questions today. But don't worry, Fran, I'm always going to have your questions. So that's what we're going to do. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the questions. And the first three questions come from Marcus on Instagram. First question: what's a good way exercise to increase bench press 1 rep max? I hear training back helps. Marcus, I'm going to be completely honest. This is a territory I am not familiar with. As much as I am a fan of powerlifting and as much as I admire powerlifters, I've never actually trained like a powerlifter. I always trained like a bodybuilder, which means a lot of reps for as much weight as possible, right? Your 1 rep max, how to increase a 1 rep max would be in a powerlifter's realm. I don't know too much about that. Now, I do know that strengthening your triceps helps. So like, for example, when bodybuilders do skull crushes, we usually go to our forehead or we go behind the forehead, right? Because that increases the mass, a majority of the tricep. But I understand that what powerlifters do is when they do skull crushes, they actually come to their chin because that puts the stress on the tricep close to the elbow. And that is the part that really gives you a good push on a bench press. There's plenty of other exercises that will increase your bench press, but unfortunately, I don't have that much knowledge in it. Now, if you want to go and follow powerlifters, champion powerlifters, I'll give you a couple that you can go follow their YouTube or their Instagram. Scott Mendelson, one of the greatest powerlifters ever lived. Obviously, Larry Wheels. Leah Reitman. I believe Leah Reitman still has the female world record squat. Rita West, who was probably one of the greatest female powerlifters that ever lived. She actually held a squat record, I think at 147 pounds. I might be wrong, but it was a weight like that. She wasn't a heavyweight, and she held that record, I think, for like 10 years, 8 years or 10 years. And it was like finally broken like 2 years ago or something to that effect. And she, I have not looked it up in a while. I haven't spoken to her a while, but I believe it was at 147. She squatted over 600, if memory serves. Okay. So those are people you could look up. And there's plenty of others. I just, off the top of my head, those are the 3 or 4 that come to the top of my head. Okay. Next question from Marcus is: what's the best way to guarantee or protect yourself from becoming sterile while on cycle? It's imperative to me to have children one day. Just want to know preventive measures. Well, if you want to completely guarantee yourself, don't do anything. But that being said, realistically, plenty of bodybuilders actually have children. I mean, some of them have multiple children. Okay. So it affects everybody differently, right? And again, this is going to get into like a medical side that I'm not comfortable talking about because I don't know, but I know we're going to steer you into the right direction. Dave Palumbo has a protocol that he uses for people that want to get their wives pregnant and being on anabolic steroids. Now, obviously, as you get older and if you use more, you're susceptible to being sterile. But if you're younger and it's just kind of younger and it's just dabbling a bit, odds are you're going to be fine. But if you are a professional bodybuilder and you have no choice, you have to do this because it's what you do for a living, then there is a protocol. There was like this, it was an HCG, Clomid. There was another drug I don't know the name of, but if you go to Dave Palumbo, RX Muscle, or you go to davepalumbo.com, or he even has an app. I don't know if it's an RX Muscle app or a Dave Palumbo app. You can ask him directly, and he will send you the protocol. And apparently, it's really good. And there are plenty of people that actually got their wives pregnant or girlfriends pregnant or whatever from using this protocol. So, are you really rolling the dice? Yes, but it's not going to be like you're going to be able to have children. You're not going to abuse it. if professional bodybuilders are able to have children, right? And they obviously use the most. Then guys that just want to use something to get in shape, you'll be fine. But if you do come to a point where you are sterile, there is protocol and ways to and increase your sperm count and whatnot, so on and so forth. Okay. Next question from Marcus. Who do you think go next? Okay, I want to become the next dominant bodybuilder, winning multiple Olympias, the way Ronnie did. It's hard for me to see anyone standing out in the stack day and age, but me too. It's very difficult for me to say that. I think Derek Lunsford can be dominant. As dominant as Ronnie, I don't think so, but I think he can be dominant because he's getting better every year. And it's kind of like him, Hadi, and Samson are kind of like these guys that are fighting for the title constantly. It's very close three, and it's even more close to Hadi and Derek. But here's the difference. Hadi is young, making improvements every year. Every time he steps on stage, he's making improvements. Hadi is a little bit older, and I believe that he has kind of reached his max greatness, if you will. Samson is also improving every show, but where Samson lacks, Derek has a tremendous strength over him, like his back and his striations in his hamstrings and his glutes and whatnot. And I truly believe that he's going to get better every year if he keeps his head on straight and keeps going, because there is no reason not to believe that. He gets better every year, and he's massive and he's chiseled. And for a shorter guy, he really has great structure. He doesn't really have many weaknesses except maybe young muscle in the front where like his chest isn't as striated as it should, but it'll get there. I believe that it'll get there. So I think he's going to be the kind of guy that he can be dominant. But there's so many guys coming up. I mean, if he let's not forget Nick Walker. If Nick never comes in off, if Derek one day comes in off or Hadi comes in off, Nick could close the door. To be honest with you, I don't think we're going to see a dominant bodybuilder like Ronnie Coleman in a very long time. I think Derek could be dominant, but as dominant as Ronnie, I don't know. I don't think we might never see that again. But then again, you never know. I mean, one of these young guys could come out of the blue and boom, like Ronnie did. Ronnie came out of nowhere. He was a guy that was lucky he would break the top 5 in a mediocre show. And then all of a sudden, bang, 1998 comes and his whole different person comes out, right? And destroys bodybuilding. But, okay, first of all, Marcus, I apologize that I couldn't answer the first 2 questions more specific, but I don't want to give false information. If I don't know something, especially something like on powerlifting and how to get your wife pregnant after being on a cycle, I feel awkward answering that because I'm not a powerlifter and I'm not a medical professional. But I can direct you where to go. Like I said, powerlifting, you go to Scott Mendelson, pregnancy protocol, Dave Palumbo, right? All right. Thank you, Marcus, for the questions. Now, we get rid of that. All right. The next question comes from Chaz, the direct tone. What's up, Chaz? Chaz is also from Jersey and is also Italian. So he wants to know, when I competed in a contest, how did I dry out the last few weeks before a show? Okay, so the 8 weeks before a contest, I would use fast-acting compounds because I always felt that if you're competing, you really have to split hairs now. So I would use a Trent acetate. I would use a propionate. I would use anything fast acting, right? And then toward the end, what I would do is a week out, I would pull all oils, all orals out completely. Just nothing, right? And then as far as my water, I would drink 2 gallons of water every day for almost 8 weeks. And then 3 days before, I would start cutting water completely. And the day before the show, I would have water up until 12 o'clock. I would sip on water. I don't remember exactly. You got to remember, the last show I did was 10 years ago. Okay. But I would sip on water a little bit before 12 or 1 o'clock, and then no water again till after the contest. And then I would take a half a Diazod that night and a half a Diazod in the morning. And that was basically as dry as I could get. Now, everybody is a little bit different. Just because I did that doesn't mean that's the way to do it. There are people that don't cut their water at all. There are people that don't need diuretics. Another thing that I did, which is a big mistake a lot of people make, I continued increasing my sodium. Not increasing, but I continued taking in sodium. People think you pull your sodium out. Generally speaking, I wouldn't unless it's absolutely necessary. And that I would discuss with my coach, but I would salting all my food because, if you salt your food and you actually take in a lot of water, number one, it prevents cramping, which is great because if you have no sodium in you and you try to pose, your muscles cramp. And two, it keeps a fuller look in your muscle, right? So I never cut sodium out. And the diuretics work better when you have sodium and water in your system, right? Okay. Well, it depends on the diuretic you use, but I'm pretty sure that the Diazod that I use worked better with sodium and water in my system because it was really able to push it out. So for the most part, that was generally. Then the week before the contest, or was it? God, we're going way back. I don't know if it's 3 or 4 days before the contest. I would start carbing up. Meanwhile, I would have very little carbs before, and I'm not the type of guy that could eat carbs and get ripped. It was not in me. I wasn't Dorian Haywood or John De La Rosa. I was more like Phil Clayhar, where he said, he has to pull carbs. I had to pull carbs. I would rotate carbs. I remember the rotation. What I would do is 2 days protein fats, 2 days protein vegetables, 2 days protein carbs, and then I rotated again and I rotated again. I think about a month out. And that really got me really, really, really lean, rotating the carbs like that. And then I think it was I carved up. Carving up means carbohydrates with every meal because you were so lean, and now the carbs have to be there in order to make the muscle look fuller, right? But you have to be careful because if you don't take in too many carbs, if you don't take in enough carbs, then you come in flat. And then if you take in too many carbs, well, then you pour over and then you start retaining water and you don't see the definition as well. So that's why you need a watchful eye. That's why you need a good coach to say, okay, do this, do that, do this, so on and so forth. All right, but that's basically what I would do, Chaz. Now, I have other questions. Let's see. Here we go. Where are we? Okay. Sorry for the delay. Here we go. Sorry, Katie. You could just cut all that out. Okay. Here we go. Next question from Jake_Slice 3348. How does one's diet change during different phases of training? Macros, calories, supplements, so on and so forth. All right. Well, okay. Your diet should change with your goals, right? So if you're looking to put muscle on, then you need to take in more calories, more macros, make sure that you have in quality proteins, quality carbohydrates, quality vegetables. What I mean quality vegetables. What I mean is, obviously the fresher the stuff, it's always better. Or when I say quality proteins, I mean, obviously the grass-fed beef is going to be better. For example, like grass-fed beef would be high in omega-3s, which is a really, really good fat. And the mass-produced one would be high in omega-6s, which isn't as beneficial. As a matter of fact, it increases inflammation in the body. So you kind of always want to do the grass-fed beef. So you have to increase those quality, really, really quality macros. And you just need to eat a lot and train like a bodybuilder, heavy, hard, and as many reps and get the basics down, so on and so forth. Your supplements are going to remain the same, man. I mean, you're going to take your 1 a days. You're going to take your whey protein. You're going to take, your CoQ10 or your pre-workouts or so on and so forth. Your supplement's not really going to change too much, right? Now, if you're looking to get leaner, I'm not a big fan of changing your training to get leaner. I don't see a big advantage of that. I've tried that in the past and I just lost muscle. But, if you continue to train hard and heavy for, reps and so on and so forth, then your muscle is going to maintain as much as it can, even though you're on a calorie deficient diet, right? A caloric deficit diet, if you will. Okay. So then if you're looking to lose weight and gain and remain and keep the muscle and lose weight and lose body fat, then the diet changes. Do you have to pull carbs? Do you have to pull fats? Everything is a little different, and you're going to have to figure it out. And obviously, you're going to have to lower the caloric intake, but you still want quality foods to take in. Look, as bodybuilders, we understand the difference between brown rice and a Twinkie. They're both carbohydrates, right? But obviously, Twinkie is junk food and crap. People think they pull carbohydrates, all carbohydrates. And that's just not true. Not all the time. Everybody's a little bit different. And also it depends how extreme. If you're looking to just get in shape and lose some weight, I'm not a big fan of pulling carbohydrates. Carbohydrates help you drink. They give you energy. They help you train in the gym. You feel good. Junk food is something you should never take in, or take in as little as possible, right? So your diet changes with the goals that you have intended. That's basically it. I can't be more general than that, right? That's as basic as it's going to get, and as straightforward as it's going to get. Okay, HitFit_performance. What music do you enjoy while working out? Well, it's so funny because the music I have is so random on my phone. Like literally, I'll have Michael Jackson, Kenny Rogers. I'm not kidding, Barbra Streisand, and then all of a sudden I have like hardcore rap music, like Onyx from the 90s, or Biggie, or Tupac, or then I'll have like 9 Inch Nails, or Korn, or any hard music like that, or there's hard techno music I used to listen to when we used to go to the clubs when I was a kid in the 90s, right? So it varies all over the place, because I don't just use my music for the gym. Sometimes I put it on in the house. I put it on in the yard because I have a little speaker system in the yard, and I listen to it, so on and so forth. Right. But in the gym, it's anything hardcore. So it's hard hip hop, or hard rock, or hard techno, or so on and so forth. Right. That's usually what I'll listen to that gets me going. I mean, I got Zeppelin, I have Hendrix, I got EPMD in my phone. I got so many different types of music. Music is, I don't know. I was never very musically inclined. I was a huge fan of music, and I was never a fan of one. Let me rephrase that. I enjoyed all different types of music. For a long time, people would say, "Oh, well, you even listen to country?" Because when I was young, country was not hip like it is now. Like, country's the trend now. Everybody enjoys country. And then I would say no. But then I enjoyed Willie Nelson, and I enjoyed Kenny Rogers, and I enjoyed Dolly Parton. So the truth was, yes, I did like country, right? And I think it's helpful to have an assortment of music that you enjoy, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's no big deal if you like one type of music. But I think if you diversify your music collection, it kind of balances you out a little bit. Well, who are you listening to? Why do you like them? What do you like about the performer? So on and so forth, right? I just think I always loved music, but in the gym, the harder the better. All right, next question. HitFit_performance. Do you think people in general train smarter and harder these days, or was it better than you before? You know what's so funny? You would think so. You would think with all the information they have on YouTube and Instagram that they would be able to work smarter and harder. But no, it's actually worse now than ever. Okay. I mean, it is the blind leading the blind when you go to a corporate gym like Retro or LA Fitness. It's unbelievable, the things that I see that just blow me away. They don't know how to spot. They don't know the form right. They don't know gym etiquette. It's unbelievable. Now, the more you go to a more hardcore gym, and then you see guys who really know what they're doing. Like if you go to Diamond, like if I were to go to Diamond Gym and go meet Luke Mon, the guy who's on my Muscle Talk show, and we train together, different animal. Okay. You can't go in that gym and not train hard. It's impossible. That is as hardcore as it gets. And I don't know if I could keep up with Luke. He's a fucking beast in the gym. But and you would know, people would teach you, and you would know. I learned more from guys in the gym about gym etiquette, about form, about bodybuilding than I ever learned anywhere else. But it's so funny because the information is right there at your fingertips, and it's just getting worse. I don't know. It's the strangest thing. But no, definitely got people trained smarter and harder back 20 or 30 years ago than they do now. Plus, you got to understand too, bodybuilding is not as, we love bodybuilding, but it's not as mainstream. Now you have more of a fitness thing and the classic physique and so on and so forth. And you have CrossFit and blah, 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 blah. When we went to the gym when we were kids, in the 90s or the early 2000s, or some of us are old enough for the 80s, there was only two reasons to train: the bodybuilding, powerlifting. That was it. That was it. So you learned how to be a bodybuilder, or if you wanted to be a powerlifter, you learned how to be a powerlifter. That was it. Okay, Fran is the man. His questions, because Fran is the man. Do you consider chores like mowing the lawn, shoveling snow, or walking the dog count as cardio? Me, no. I consider doing cardio in the gym cardio, because I don't like to say, oh, I shoveled snow today, I don't need to do cardio. I don't like giving somebody or myself a reason to skip cardio, because a lot of people, generally speaking, will give themselves any excuse to skip cardio, right? Like, for example, the big, talking point now on social media when it comes to bodybuilding and bodybuilding influencers, fitness influencers, is well, if you train like a body, you train right, you don't have to do cardio. If you hit the weights right, you don't have to do cardio. Now, is that true? Yeah, if you train like a bodybuilder, a professional bodybuilder. And even those guys still have to do cardio, some of them. But the majority of people don't train like that. The majority of people go through the motions. And I don't like giving people an excuse not to do cardio. So yes, you have to do cardio, whether you shovel snow, whether you walk the dog, whether you squat 500 pounds, you have to do cardio, okay? Because I don't like saying, no, you don't have to, because then people get the wrong idea. And they go, oh, well, I don't have to. You have to. Just fucking do cardio. That's it. All right. Next question from Fran is the man. Does anyone at your gym watch your videos, especially LA Fitness? Nobody in LA Fitness watches my stuff. Actually, more people in LA Fitness watch my other channel, the Outcast channel, because they like the mafia interviews and the porno star interviews and the prostitute interviews and all that stuff. When I go to Signature Gym, there are guys there that know who I am and watch my stuff. As a matter of fact, somebody came up to me while I was at Signature yesterday. Oh God, today's Monday. Yeah. So yesterday, and I was working out, and this guy came up to me, he waited for me to put the weight down. Then he came over to me with his phone, and he showed me that he was watching me on my phone. He's like, and he said, man, I knew you looked familiar. And that was like the biggest compliment like I could ever have. The fact that it's my channel is actually reaching people, it's the biggest compliment anybody could ever give me. And then of course, I'm a motor mouth, in Italian, you say chiacchierone, I don't shut up. So I was talking to this guy for like 10 minutes and telling about my other channel, whatever, blah, 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 being friendly as hell. All right. Next question from Fran is the man. What was the biggest your arms have ever been measured? Honestly, I've never measured my arms, and I don't even have a tape measure. Do not. No, I do not have a tape measure. So no, I've never in my life, I've never measured my arms. I swear to you. So I have no idea. No, I never measured my arms. I don't know what my arm size was. I always looked at my body and I always wanted myself to look symmetrical. It never happened. Okay. Because I'm not that gifted. I never had these tremendous cap shoulders. I never had this thick, hard, thick back. My arms are a little longer, so my biceps are longer. Right. So I would always do my best to look symmetrical and look at myself and kind of like in that movie Pumping Iron Arnold, where he says, you're an artist, and let's say you have weak shoulders, so you do more shoulder training to get your shoulders bigger. That's kind of how I went about training. I never measured my arms. I never measured the only time I ever measured my chest was if I had to go fitting for a suit. I never measured my quads. I always knew my waist size because I got to buy pants. So you got to know your waist size. But no, man, I don't know, man. I can't answer that. All right. Next question from Fran is the motherfucking man. Which bodybuilding trophy in your trophy case are you most proud of, and is it most meaningful? All right, I'm going to tell you the truth. None of them are meaningful. They're garbage. They're crap. It's a small victory, if you will. Man, look, we love bodybuilding. I love bodybuilding. Okay. But getting on stage and getting a plastic trophy doesn't prove anything. It really doesn't. I have plenty of stupid trophies back there. And they hand them out like candy at NPC shows, All right. I'm going to get a little bit truthful with you. Okay. Those trophies don't mean shit. What means more to me as a man, if you want to rate it in success, is the fact that my wife is taken care of. My mother is taken care of, that we have a roof over our heads. We got food in our belly. The bills are paid, and I go to work every day and I'm healthy and I'm working on building this platform. That would make me extremely happy if this platform becomes a huge success. I mean, those are NPC bodybuilding trophies, man. Go to an they don't mean shit. They really don't. They're garbage. I put them back there because they're nice to have. Then they look good. It's a bodybuilding show. So it's great. I never got close to a fucking national level. I mean, I knew I wasn't that good. You know, anybody could do an NPC show and get a trophy. Seriously. I'm not even, it's ridiculous. I mean, all right, look, I'll give you an example. Okay. I did bodybuilding, right? Let's say I would go into it today. I would go into bodybuilding open. I would go into bodybuilding masters over 35. Go into bodybuilding masters over 40. Okay. So those are 3 categories right there. Then I would probably cross over and do classic. And I would do open classic. Now I never did classic before, so I could do novice classic as well. Right. And then I would do classic masters over 35. And then I do classic masters over 40. I'm going to get a fucking trophy soon in one of them. It's inevitable. And probably multiple. I mean, you sign a piece of paper, you buy your NPC card, and you go, yeah, I want to do a contest, and you do a contest. And don't get me wrong, when I was young and I did my first contest at 23, I was like, wow, I can't believe I won. This is amazing, and it is a good. Don't get me wrong, it's a nice achievement, and it gives you confidence to do other things. But on the grand scheme of things, man, being a husband, being a good son, I never had the chance to be a father, but being a father, being a provider, and being a solid, good man for your family, no trophy could fucking trump that, man. I would throw everything in the fire if I wasn't the man I am. And did bodybuilding teach me how to do this? No, my father did. My brothers did. The family I came from did. I don't know. I'm just being honest, dude. Like, it's just not. Look, if you did bodybuilding as a profession, and that's how you made your money, and that's how you supported your family, then it's different. Like if I'm John De La Rosa, and I'm going into the fucking Arnold Classic, and this might be the biggest payday of my life, and I'm at the peak of my career, then I'm proud of that, right? Then I'm fucking proud of that. But bringing home a trophy from Brooklyn or the Jersey Shore, sorry, man. We got to be real. We got to be real. All right, next question. Sorry to get so real on you there, but it is what it is. Thoughts on ice baths, cold plunges after training? Fran is the man. Okay, so supposedly the benefits from ice baths are reduce pain, decrease inflammation, reduce muscle soreness, and this one's funny, alertness. No shit, it's alertness. Put yourself in an ice bath. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm alert. I'm fucking alert now. Now, I don't know if it worked because I never did it and I never will do it. But supposedly a lot of people do it. I don't know. It's the trend to do it now. But I mean, you can always give it a shot if you want to and see if it helps. I know they do it in Russia. They throw little kids in ice baths in Russia because they're training men to be fucking men and animals over there, right? Over here, it's, little boys can't even figure out if they're little boys or little girls. But anyway, Fran is the man. Last question and final question from Fran is the man, because Fran is the man. We all know you are done competing, but would you ever consider guest posing if offered? All right, dude, are you nuts? Guest posing? I'm 5'8". I'm 200 pounds. All right. No, that's a joke. Unless you give me a fat check. I'm not going to embarrass myself like that. No. Guest posing is for the open class bodybuilders who on their off season look like complete silverback gorillas, and they take off their clothes and get on stage, and the whole audience goes, what the fuck is that? Because they've never seen a person that big before. And that's why I always fell in love with bodybuilding. I would be doing bodybuilding a disservice if I guest posed. It would be a joke. So no, never in a million years, unless there's a few zeros behind it, then maybe. But if somebody for shits and giggles goes, hey, why don't you guest pose? No, thank you. It's not, no. It'd be embarrassing. I'd be very popular in bodybuilding for the wrong reasons. Because I'd be embarrassed. All right, guys, listen. I got a little serious. I couldn't answer every question. But listen, guys, I truly appreciate each and every one of you that sends me questions. You have no idea about how happy I was when that guy came over to me in the gym. And it's the same thing when you guys send me questions for Anabolic Academy. I absolutely love it. So keep them coming in. I'm going to have Phil Dorian and probably Luke on Wednesday. We're going to be doing an Arnold preview, and maybe we'll put a little wager on it to make it a little exciting. All right, guys, listen, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Peace.